Timotab, and today I'm going to solve Timotab's TM by Michael Lefkowitz. He is also known as Juggler. I am continuing my birthday series, and there are the balloons to demonstrate that. This has been made especially for my birthday. We can see the 54 and 71 year of my birth in the puzzle. So very nicely themed, and of course the Union flag here as well. Thank you for the beautiful looking puzzle. Let us have a look at the rules. Normal Sudoku rules apply. We are going to place the digits 1 to 9 once each in every row, every column, and every box. Parity lines. Adjacent digits along a red line have one odd and one even digit. So if this is odd, this will be even. If this is odd, this will be even, this will be odd. Rectangles. Digits on a blue rectangle, here, here, and here. They sum to the white number written on the rectangle. So those two add to 5, those add to 4, and these add to 71. Okay. Timotabs. A digit on a gold Timotab outside the grid indicates how many cells in its row or column are equal to their distance from the Timotab. So if this cell were a 1, that would be one of the digits contributing to that 5 total. If this were a 2 and this were a 1, then those two would both contribute to that 5, and I would need to find 3 more digits that match how far away they are from the 5. That is all the rules, so I am going to restart the puzzle to reset the timer, and let's begin. Okay, in this cell, in this box, we have 4 even digits and 5 odd digits. Now, these diagonal lines don't actually go through the corners of the cells, so I'm interpreting that this diagonal line goes here, 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 then here, then here, then here. And that also matches up with how the horizontal and vertical lines work. So that means that these 4 have to be the same, and then these 5 have to be the same parity. So these are going to be odd, 1, 3, 5, 7, 9. These are going to be 2, 4, 6, and 8. And then these are 1, 3, 5, 7, 9. And these are 2, 4, 6, and 8. Okay, I can remove 5 from those two. Remove 5 from those two, so I've got 5 in one of those, all there. I can remove 5 from this one, it's in the same box as a 5. So the other thing to think about is that these 9 cells, I can use the secret of Sudoku, which is that by rule, every row, column, and box contains the digits 1 to 9, and the sum of the digits 1 to 9 is 45. So I know that these here are 45, and the whole rectangle is 71. So that gives me 6 gets me to 51. So these sum to 26. And I need to remember that. And we will figure that out, I'm sure, at some point. Right, is there anything else I can do with this? Not sure there is on the flag itself. All right, let's have a look at these Timotabs then. Timotab's TM. So I've got 5. Okay, well that's an odd digit, but it's an even number of slots away from the 5. That is an even digit, but it's 5 away. That is an odd digit, but it's 6 away. So those 3 cannot contribute to this 5. So that means that 5 out of these 6 cells must be the ones that match the appropriate distance away. Oh, okay. That is quite clever. Yes. Let us suppose that this were a 1. What's that digit? Well, it's certainly not a 1 by Sudoku, but this one is contributing to this clue, and this cell is therefore not contributing to that clue. Because these two clues are looking from the same direction, and they sum to 9, which is the maximum total of digits that could contribute to the clue, between them, they are using all 9 contributions, for want of a better word. So one of those two will be a 1. One of those will be a 2. One of those will be a 3. One of those will be a 4. Well, we know it's not that one, so that must be a 4. One of those will be a 5, and we know that it's not that one, so that's a 5. One of those will be a 6, and we know it's not that one, so that would be a 6. Well, a 7 there, an 8 there, and a 9 in one of those. Okay, so I can remove 4 from there. I can remove 6 from there. And this 4 and 5 do the same for these pairs going up. So those two, one of those must be a 1, one of those must be a 2, one of those must be a 3, one of those must be a 4, well it's not this one, so this is a 4. One of those must be a 5, which it already is. So I can actually remove 5 from there before I forget. One of these two must be a 6, it's not this one, so that's a 6. And we get a 7 in one of those, an 8 in one of those, and a 9 in one of those. Okay, so I should be able to get that digit because 71, what did we say, is 26 more than 45? 45 plus 6 is 51, yes. So that's 15. 26 minus 15 is 11. That's 10, that's a 1. Okay. So that is not a 1 there. That removes a 6 from there. That 4 removes a 4 from there. That gives us a 2-8 pair in the box. This is now not a 2-8, that's a 4-6 pair. Okay. These 5 tabs add up to 9. And so I have a 1 in one of those. I have a 2 in one of those, except I also know I've got a 2 in one of those, so that's not a 2. So I've got a 2 in one of those. I've got a 3 in one of those, but those aren't 3, so I have a 3 here. I have a 4 in one of those, it's going to be. I must have a 5 in one of those two, because those can't be. I've got a 6 in one of those 3. I must have a 7 in one of those 2. I've got an 8 in one of those and a 9 in one of those. 9 there, 8 there. Okay. All right. Okay, those 3 digits add up to 4. And I'm either going odd, even, odd, or even, odd, even. Well, if I go even plus odd plus even, that's 2 even digits, which results in an even digit, plus an odd digit, which results in an odd value. So these two can't be even, they must be odd. And we're adding to a total of 4, so the maximum they could be is 3. And then that makes this, if that's a 1-3 pair, this will be a 0. If it's 2 1s, this will be a 2. Okay. In this row, none of, I say none of these. Yeah. These 3 cannot contribute towards either this digit or this digit's total. Because that's not in position 3, or that's not a 3 or a 7, that's not a 5, that's not a 3 or a 7. So, what does that do for me? Actually, this row looks more interesting because that is not position 3, that's not 4, that's not 5, that's not 6, that's not 7, and that's not 9. So if this were a 3, that would have to be a 1, a 2, and an 8. But then that would break this cell because that is 2 and 8 there. So that can't be a 3, that's a 1. Okay. Something in this column up here. Let us suppose this is a 2. If that's a 2, that makes that a 3. That then gives us 5 digits contributing to this 4 clue, which doesn't work. So that can't be a 2, but we know that one of those is a 2, so this must be a 2. That seems reasonable. So 4 is in one of those 2. Okay, if this were a 4 and this were a 6, then this would be 2. And then in order to make this 4 work, all 4 of these cells would have to contribute to the 4. But that can't be a 1 because that's a 1. So this can't be a 4, that has to be a 6, that has to be a 4. So now the 4, because of these clues, that has to go in one of these cells, has to go there. And that means it's not a 3, and I know I need a 3 in one of those, so that's a 3. And now looking at this clue, we have we do not have a 7 here, but one of these two must be 7. So that has to be the 7. Okay. Right. This has 2 digits contributing to it, and 2 of these 4 contributing to it. The only way that a digit can contribute to both clues that are opposite each other is with the 5, because if this is a 2, then it's which works for one direction, then it's not going to be an 8 for the other direction. So in order for that to be a 2, I would need all 4 of these cells contributing to one end or the other, but this can't be a 1 and nor can that, and therefore I can't have all 4 of those cells contributing because none of, these 2 are for this one, none of them are for this one, so I need 4 more cells if this were a 2. Therefore that's not a 2, that's a 0, and then that has to be a 3 to make the 4 total. Okay. That 1 is doing a bit of work. One of these 2 has to be a 1, and it can't be this one. So that's a 1. This can't be a 3 for this clue because of that 3 there. So this has to be a 3. And this now has 4 of its 5. And this has 1, 2 of its 4. This 4 has 1, 2, 3, 4. So this has all of its clues fulfilled. Therefore, that can't be a 1, so that is. That's 2's there. We've got a 3 there, 4, 5, and 6 there. I need a 7 in one of those that's not that one. So that's a 7. That's got to be 8. That's got to be 9. That's very nice. That removes 7 and 9 from those. Add a 1. That's a 3. And that's 5. That's not 3. 3 and 5 come out of those. Okay. One of these 2 has to be a 6 because from this clue I need a 6 here. Okay. So this 5 clue, I already have 1, 2, and 3 in this row. And this 5 and 6 will either be 2 more for here, making that a 0 and that a 5, or it will be 2 for here, making this a 2 and this a 3, or it'd be one of each. But either way, the 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7 fulfill the 5 clue. Therefore, the one that I need here can't be in either of those. It's got to be in one of those. The 2 has to be in one of those. The 8 has to be in one of those. And the 9 has to be in one of those. Okay, and that one's not a 1 by Sudoku. Oh, and this 0 clue means that that can't be the 2, that can't be an 8, that can't be a 9. This must be a 9. That removes 9 from there. Only one of these 3 is going to match, and 3 of those are going to match. Oh, I can't have the 2, 8 pair match, because if the 2 and 8 match, then that would have no value. So 1 must go there. That makes that a 7. We get 9 there and 1 here. Okay. So this must be 2 or 3. This must be 8 or 3, I think. I guess that could be a 2. That could be an 8. Yeah, but one of those two is a 3. There we go. Well, if that's a 3, then that has to be the 8. So that, yeah, if that's a 3, that has to be the 8, because that's not going to match. So actually I can remove the 2 from there, and then vice versa the 8 from there. So that is 2 or 3, and that's 3 or 8. Okay. So that can't be a 1, that can't be a 9. I've got the 4 and the 6. I need 2 more digits to fulfill this clue. So that has to be a 2. That has to be an 8. That makes these a 3-7 pair. So that is 7 or 8 by the box. One of those is a 9. So that's 2, 7, 9. And that one's not a 2. All right, very nice. Okay, in this column I have 1, 5. So I need 2 more out of the 4 left in the column. Here I have 3, 4, 6, and 7, so I need 1 more in this column. Okay. 5. By Sudoku is in one of those two, but this 5 is pointing down, so that's a 5. I have a 6 in one of those 3. 8 is not in there, and nor is 9. So this is a 6, 8, 9 triple, and that one's not a 6. So that makes this 3, 5, 7. And that one's not 5. That 7 is looking across there. That's not a 7, and it's not a 3, so that's the 5. That was, in fact, quite useful. So that's either 4 or 5, and that is 1 or 0. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, that's a 0. That means that this is odd. We have a 1. 5 is not going to be, 6 is not going to be, 7 is not going to be, 2 is not going to be. So that can't be 7. Right, that's 4. Right. 1 could be, 2 can't be, 3 is, 4 can't be, 5 can't be, 6 can't be, 7 can't be, 8 can't be, 9 could be. So we could have 1, 3, 9, or just 3. So that is 1 or 3. Okay, in this column, I need 2, 7, 8, 9. That's not a 2. That's not a 7, and that's not an 8. And I've got 1, 2 so far, so I need 2 more to complete this column. What about this column? I need 2, 5, 8, 9. Those are both not 5. 5's up in one of those. That's not 8. That's not 9. That's not a 2. Okay. Okay. This 5, I've already got 3, 4, 6, and 7, so I need 1 more. And if this were a 2, then that would be the 1 more, and therefore nothing else could match. So that couldn't be an 8, and that couldn't be a 9. But if this is a 9, then that can't be a 9. So either way, that's not a 9, and that means that this one is a 9, because we need to have one of those two be a 9 for these two clues. So that removes 9 as candidates from there. That definitely doesn't match. And what have I got? I've got 1, 2, 3. I need 1 more match in this column. So if that's 2, that matches. That becomes 7, which doesn't match. And that's 8, which doesn't match. If that's 7, that'll be 8, which will match. That'll work. So now this appears to work either way. Okay, so if that's a 2, that's not 8. In fact, if that's 2, that's 8. That's 5, that's 9. If that's not 2, then that's 9. That has to match, that'll be 8. So that can't be 5, is that what I'm figuring out? If that's 2, then that matches, that becomes 8. That's the only place for 9, and that'll be 5. And if this is 9, then I need a match, and that has to be this 8. So that's 8 or 9. That is not 5. That makes that 5. And now these are going to work either way, I think. In fact, if that's 2, that's 8, that's 7, that'll be 8 to make that match. That'll be 9, that'll be 2. Yep, that's going to work. And if that's 7, that'll be 8, that'll be 9, that'll be 2. Yep, so these will work either way. All right. So there must be something else then. those. Yes, I've got the 1, 2, and then one of those two will match. Whichever one of those matches, that the opposite will match for this one, and yeah, that'll be there or there. That clue is done. That clue is done. All right. Well, these two digits must be known. They are 3 and 2, and that was what I needed. Because I know that one of those is a 2, and one of those is a 2. And that uses up the expected 2 2s in this row. If this were a 2, then I would need 3 2s in these two rows. So that is not a 2, that is a 7. That makes that 8. That makes that 2. That makes that 9. That's 2, and that's 8. That completes those tab clues. That's 3 and that's 2. This is 4, 6, and 1. So that's the 6. And that's a 1, 4 pair. Very nice. Okay, here we have a 3, 7 pair, and this 7 tells us which way round. That's 3, that's 7. That resolves. This is a 3, and this is a 7, making that 9. This is now a 2, and that's 3, that's 8, and that's 7. And then this 8 makes this 2 and this 8. Okay, these 3 digits are 1, 6, and 9. So that's the 9. That is 1, 6. This can't be a 9, which means we have a maximum of 2 digits that can match in this row. But we're only allowed 1. That's this 3, so this has to be a 6. That's a 1. That's a 4. That's a 1. These 2 digits are 4 and 8, and we know the order. And these 2 are 6 and 9, and we know the order of those 2. Okay. In this column, we need 2, 4, 5. So that's the 2, 4, and 5. These 3 are 1, 6, 7. That's not a 7. That's not a 1. We need an odd digit and an even digit on here by the red line. And that means that 6 must be on that line. It's the only even digit there. So that's a 1. That becomes a 6, 7 pair. This 9 makes this an 8. This 9 now makes this 6. And this 9. So that's 7 and 6 up here. This 7 makes this 3 and this 7. And then it should just be a little bit of Sudoku. We get a 1 there. 2 is here. 3 is here. 4 is here. 6 and 8 go in 8 and 6. And we have 1, 2, 3, 4 digits here. I can put the 4 in there and the 1 in there. That was a super fun puzzle. And no, there we go. There's the fireworks. Thank you very much to juggler Michael Lefkowitz for creating that puzzle. Beautifully designed, which is what I've come to expect from juggler. Very well themed and not monstrously difficult. And an innovative constraint that I don't think I've seen before. I mean, I guess it's a variation on indexing, but yeah, no, I really enjoyed that. Thank you very much. If you enjoyed this solve, then please hit the like button. You can subscribe to see some more, and I would love to hear your comments. I'm looking forward to next time. Be seeing you.